केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
The News Hour Special Edition.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the News Hour Special Edition this Saturday evening, and I'm Hina Gambhir. Viewers, politics is a game of narratives. Outcomes of elections depend on clash of these narratives. The voters are the judge, the better narrative wins. But political events of the last 1 month and the BJP and the Congress have constructed something unique. Narratives which are being called a smokescreen, hiding the real picture. Welcome to the season of diversionary narratives. Even the ultimate jury in our democracy, the voters have reasons to be confused in trying to establish which narrative should be bought as 24-karat gold and which should be rejected as a deception. Let's explore what has transpired. We have 2 issues and 4 political pitches. One is over the national song Vande Mataram. The Congress does not want to sing more than 2 stanzas, while the law says that one should sing the entire song. The BJP says the Congress is disrespecting Vande Mataram, and BJP has also planned an outreach. BJP today also passed a resolution against Congress on this. In the ongoing scramble for Gen Z or young voters, Congress's Rahul Gandhi wants guilt fixed for pellet gun injuries during July 20 Jantar Mantar protests. BJP says a Supreme Court ordered committee is probing the matter. So let's now list for you the charges of diversionary narratives. The Congress says BJP wants to divert attention from the pellet gun issue and is raising row over Vande Mataram. Rahul Gandhi has already engaged the agitation gear. BJP says Congress is repeating the mistake it made in its 1937 working committee meet when it adopted a truncated version of Vande Mataram for Muslim votes, and now Rahul is using the pellet gun injuries issue as a cover-up. Listen.
देखिए, वंदे मातरम सिर्फ एक संगीत नहीं है, ये देश के करोड़ों स्वतंत्रता सेनानी के लिए एक उद्घोष था और
तो फेलियर छुपाने के लिए आ रहे, उसका तो विरोध करने का कोई कारण नहीं है। तो लेकिन जिस तरह से मोदी सरकार का जो फेलियर है उस छुपाने के हम देश प्रेमी हैं, वो दिखाने का काम कर रहे हैं। चंदा चोरी जो हुआ है भगवान श्री राम जी के मंदिर में, वो छुपाने के लिए कर रहे हैं। तो वंदे मातरम को कांग्रेस ने क्या विरोध किया है, तो वो लोग क्यों जबरदस्त इसमें राजनीति कर रहे हैं।
Now, both parties, while junking the other's pitches as diversion, are targeting both identical and different vote banks. Right after the CJP protest, Prime Minister Modi unleashed a slew of reels on social media with the Gen Z and youth from his Red Fort speech as well. On Friday, Rahul Gandhi staged a 6-hour-long dharna at police station in the national capital, demanding an FIR and justice for a pellet gun victim. The target, Gen Z voter. Today, Rahul Gandhi held his 4th edition of Chhatron Ki Goonj, and at the center stage of this were girl students, female students. Target was young women voters. On the other side of the political fence, the national president of BJP, Nitin Nabin, held his first meeting with the party's newly appointed national office bureaus to discuss the preparations for upcoming assembly elections and grassroots outreach. Prime Minister Modi participated, and the standout picture from the photo session involved Nitin Nabin's 65-member team with all women in the front row. Political signal sent to women voters. Next, the BJP meet started only after full Vande Mataram recitation. Signal was actually for majority voters that the Congress is disrespecting the national song. The Congress top leaders across the country have been coming out all guns blazing, claiming that BJP is thrusting full version of Vande Mataram on Indians. Here the target is minority voters. Now, these competing narratives and charges of diverting people's attention are likely to remain the political flavor for sure in the coming days. Critics may frown on this clash, but take a step back and look at the events of the last few days. Currently, the TMC and Mamata Banerjee are on back foot. Opposition leaders like Arvind Kejriwal, Akhilesh Yadav and Tejasvi Yadav are all waiting and watching. BJP, on the other hand, is carrying out a political reset after setbacks. Rahul Gandhi is trying to signal political consistency on key concerns of Aam Aadmi. The result, suddenly on key political issues, the two parties are dominating the political center stage. Viewers, that's why tonight we will be discussing, is Vande Mataram non-issue as Congress claims, or is Congress insulting the song as BJP claims? Should the pellet gun and Vande Mataram issues be made to compete? And lastly, if the Gen Z and women voters are the target, which narrative is more potent? Let's open this up. Our guests who are joining us on this debate this evening, we have with us Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Tushar Gupta, who is a political analyst, Imran Ahmed Ali, lawyer and political analyst, Neerja Chaudhary, who is a senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. Let me begin this discussion with you, Sanju Verma. Is Vande Mataram a non-issue as Congress party is claiming?
You know, I think the Congress party is making a mountain out of a molehill about the fact that the new Vande Mataram law, which has been duly passed by Parliament, says that all 6 stanzas should be sung, but the Congress refuses to see logic. It refuses to see reason. I would say that Congress jo mudda nahi hai, use mudda bana rahi hai. I want to ask one thing to the Congress party, especially Rahul Gandhi, because he's consistently waving that Samvidhan ki lal kitab on the floor of the Parliament. You know, they say हम गणतंत्र में विश्वास रखते हैं, लोकतंत्र में विश्वास रखते हैं, संविधान के हम सूरा हैं. On the 29th of July, 2026, Hina, the new Vande Mataram law was passed in the Rajya Sabha. Then on the 30th of July in the Lok Sabha, the presidential approval came on the 11th of August, 2026. So the limited point is, was due process followed to amend the original Prevention of Insult to National Honor Act of 1971? Oh yes. When the law of the land has spoken, when the Parliament has taken cognizance of the fact and passed the new amendment, why is the Darbari ecosystem unwilling to yield? Why are they so rattled? 6 stanzas gaye hain. It takes all of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So mudda BJP nahi, mudda Congress bana rahi hai.
Okay. Imran, please respond to the point that she has made.
You know, it's so sad today that while our freedom fighters used Vande Mataram to unite all Indians against the British, today the current government is trying to divide Indians amongst Indians. Our tricolor, our national anthem, our national song belongs to every citizen of India, and no political party gets to issue political certificates and patriotism certificates. Today, my problem is that we do not even know the basic understanding of the act, the amendment. The statutory protection given to the national anthem has been extended, and it is only an offense if someone intentionally prevents someone else from singing it, or you cause a disturbance to an assembly singing it. Now, as per the act in itself, please come to the exact provision of law which says that you have to sing all 6. There is no section that you will find, because that does not exist. Now, let me come back to whether Congress is the one who is criticizing it. When Congress met in Firozpur in 1937, on the advice of Mahatma Gandhi, who I hold in very high regard, and Rabindranath Tagore, the first 2 stanzas were adopted. Now, this was also accepted by the likes of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and everybody else. So now, if you really ask me who is disrespecting Vande Mataram, it is people who are disrespecting our freedom fighters.
Okay.
It is people who are disrespecting the constitutional, the people who made the Constitution of India, the people who adopted it, who adopted Vande Mataram. Today you were saying that their judgment is lesser somehow as per yours. And I do not want to go into as to why the 4 stanzas are completely different to the first 2.
Okay.
If you ask me what is anti-India is you trying to divide a certain section of your population, of your
You know, I
citizenry.
heard both of you. I heard both of you patiently. Our viewers also heard both of you very patiently, and both of you are trying to target each other and blame each other for using Vande Mataram to divide the country. We have seen this happen in the last few days as well. BJP accusing the Congress accusing the BJP of doing exactly the same thing. Since you quoted history, quick fact, and then I'll go across to Ms. Neerja. In 1906, Congress adopted full version. Truncated version was there. It was adopted in 1937 as Muslim League at that point in time was against it. पहले popular था, इसीलिए adopt किया था उसको पूरा all stanzas. And then it was, you know, then removed, like other stanzas were removed. And Neerja Chaudhary, you heard both sides here. I want to understand from you who is really insulting the Vande Mataram, the national song, and who is using Vande Mataram for political gains? Or is this actually being used as a diversionary tactic by the political parties?
I think it's certainly diversionary, because if you talk to ordinary people today, as of today, it does not, the issue is not resonating with them. It's not like other issues in the past. Now, can it become a polarizing issue? Yes, possible. Suppose the Congress party, which is taking this stand since 1937, this has been our accepted position. This is a song accepted by Gandhi, Tagore, Nehru, Patel, Rajendra Babu, all the stalwarts of the freedom struggle. And it was decided to go in for the two stanzas because the four stanzas that were left out invoked Hindu goddesses. And you know, certain people expressed reservation about it. And therefore, it was decided to go in for the two stanzas. That's the way it has been. Now, Congress party is taking the view that they're not going to accept the sixth stanza. So what is going to happen, say, in a state ruled by them? When Vande Mataram is sung, and the law now says if you insult the Vande Mataram, then you can have, I think, 3 years prison and you can be jailed. So what happens in a situation like that? Of course, the whole matter is likely to go to the judiciary, to the courts to settle it once again. But will it then lead to a polarization? I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Today, it's not, the whole thing is not resonating at all. And a lot of people feel this diversionary. In fact, everything both the parties, the mainline parties are doing is diversionary. Because the issue at hand, and I say this, it happens very rarely in the life of a country that the young people themselves raise the question, give us a better education system, a better examination system, and they're out on the streets to demand that. You put all that aside.
Okay.
Instead of going for those reforms.
Okay.
You are now picking up Vande Mataram, something else. I don't understand it at all. And you're doing all this to, you know, appeal to the young people. I don't know how they're going to react to it, but yes, I do say, knowing the way India reacts sometimes, it could in the future become a polarizing issue.
Okay. Sanju wants to respond, but before that, I want to quickly go to Tushar as well. Tushar, yesterday, when Rahul Gandhi reached Parliamentary Police Station, the national capital, and held that dharna, you know, he wanted the complaint to be converted to an FIR in the case of the pellet gun victim. And that time, the BJP said that this is a diversionary tactic because the Vande Mataram issue has become quite uncomfortable for the Congress party. So I want to understand from you, should the pellet gun and the Vande Mataram issues be made to compete?
No, the people will decide what issues must compete with each other. Actually, the voters get the final say on what those issues really matter. We cannot say that Vande Mataram will not matter to the voters, or will it actually matter to the voters, and how will they judge the entire pellet gun episode? It's not that just the pellet gun episode. Let's not look at it in isolation. There was an entire political lobby that incited a protest. The protest turned violent. There were stones pelted on police officers. A lot of things happened. pellet gun perhaps was fired. The matter is under investigation. So let the voters investigate from whatever facts are available in the public domain. I don't think any political party or any lobby can decide on the behalf of the voters what is going to make an issue. My problem is Congress today wants to invoke Nehru, Patel, Gandhi, everyone, citing the decision they made in 1937 and saying, look, our freedom fighters thought of Vande Mataram in this manner. Fair enough. But those freedom fighters also had a vision for India. Their vision of India was that if a law is formulated in the parliament, the country has to follow it. I don't think Nehru or Sardar Patel would have agreed that a political party's resolution supersedes a law that was formed in the parliament.
Okay.
I do not see Nehru or Patel saying that uniform civil code, which was also the dream of our freedom fighters, should be in cold storage for 80 years. So if you're going to, believe in them, lock, stock, barrel, in all spirit, then believe in them entirely. You cannot selectively quote Nehru and Patel and their ethos when it suits your political narrative.
Okay.
That is where the problem with the Congress is. And at the end of the day, the BJP, what it wants to do, the voters know better how they're going to tackle Gen Z. I heard someone saying that they want better education. Education at the end of the day is the state subject. What are the state governments doing? The voters will judge them from there.
Okay.
The voters also know how many seats have been increased, how many seats have not been increased, how many universities have been opened, how many colleges have been opened, what the government is doing for private sector.
That's the reason why we are having this debate this evening, because there are too many narratives out there and voters are also a little confused. Okay, quick.
Hold on.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying, Hina. Whatever has actually impacted the lived reality of the voter, that is the decision that the voter will take. That is the party that will eventually win. Congress so far has given us theory. The BJP has given us way more than theory, at least in the last 12 years.
Okay. 10 seconds, quick rebuttal. Sanju Verma and Imran on what we've discussed. Then we have to move on to the other important aspect of this debate as well. 10 seconds. Sanju and then Imran.
I just want to say one thing. Prime Minister Modi has repeatedly said, Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi. If we sing all the 6 stanzas of Vande Mataram, that does not come at the expense of education. The number of IIT seats have gone up from 52,000 to 1.4 lakh. The number of MBBS seats have gone from 51,000 to 1.36 lakh.
Okay.
The number of higher education seats have gone up from 49,000 to 72,000. The number of universities have gone up from 326 to 847.
Okay.
The number of colleges have gone up to 14,000 plus. So please don't say that Vande Mataram ke chalte higher education is not being given the due importance that it deserves.
Okay,
That's
Imran.
completely fake narrative.
Imran.
The final point.
I don't have a lot of time. I have to discuss another important issue as well, Sanju.
10 seconds, please. Yeah. I just want to reinforce what Amit Shah ji said. The state song of Telangana, state song of Karnataka, and the state song of Tamil Nadu have references to Goddess Durga, Saraswati, Lord Ram, Bhagwan Krishna. So are we going to say these state songs should be declared null and void?
Okay, Imran, quick rebuttal, and I request you to please stick to the time, 10 seconds. I really have to discuss another important issue as well. Yeah.
Sure. Today, I wish for the viewers and the panel to respect 3 things. Article 25, freedom of conscience and religion, the ideology and the thought process of freedom fighters and our constitution makers, and please respect the Vande Mataram for the intention of uniting Indians with Indians and not dividing Indians from Indians.
Okay. Ms. Neerja, now one thing is very clear that even though the focus, as Sanju mentioned, is on higher education, etc., but simultaneously there are instances of paper leaks that are continuing almost on a daily basis. We're getting reports from some part of the country and some days another. Anyways, let's now also talk about what's happening simultaneously, how there is this race to woo Gen Z. Do you think now Rahul Gandhi, as leader of opposition, has perhaps learned some lessons from what happened during CJP protests, and that's the reason why he went yesterday to Parliamentary Street Police Station and ensured that the complaint was converted into an FIR. Do you think he's being consistent and the way he's using issues of Aam Aadmi, like as we speak, he's hosting Chhatron Ki Goonj in Pune. I was just listening to it. He's talking about very simple issues that matter to the people of this country. And he's no longer talking about Samvidhan Bachao and those big issues that he used to talk about earlier.
I think you're right there. The issue he raised of the pellet gun has exercised a lot of people and worried a lot of people. And answers were not forthcoming. But then it must also be said that the Congress party and the opposition didn't allow the Home Minister to speak in Parliament when he offered to do so at the end of the monsoon session. They just stalled Parliament. But having said that, the Supreme Court has now appointed a committee, 5-member committee, to probe this about who was behind the violence on July 20th against the young protesters. So I think we should await that. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi is upping the ante, obviously to reach out to the Gen Z, Gen Alpha. And I would just say about, higher education that Sanju talked about. What is coming to light as a result of this agitation in the young people is also, look at the state of our schools. If you really go and travel in villages and ground level, many times, and some of them have brought this to light. And I think rather than questioning or putting them down, as I said, this is a very rare moment in the life of a country, and such a large number of young people say we want change and we want to be part of that change that affects us so vitally and our future so vitally.
Okay.
So importance has to focus. We must not shift the focus. Doesn't mean everything else comes to a halt in the country. Of course not.
Okay.
Things go on. Governance must go on. We must give due weightage, due importance to their voice today and see that things are addressed. Maybe have an education commission. Think of ways, get the experts together, get the young people together, get a round table going.
Okay.
At the central level, at the state level, certainly.
Okay.
That
Sanju
was the
Verma,
point I was wanting to make.
do you agree that it is indeed a rare moment in our country that we are witnessing right now? And do you think going ahead, it's Rahul Gandhi and the Congress that's going to pose a bigger challenge for your party? Because simultaneously, BJP is working very hard to woo the Gen Z. He's doing it his way. BJP is doing its own way.
Hina, since 2014, BJP has been consistently questioned as a gun to our head. Do you think Modi will win 2019? We won 2019. Will Modi win 2024? Now the narrative is, 2029 tak to BJP khatam, Modi ka charisma khatam. So let me just tell Modi naysayers one thing. The Gen Z debate, the Gen Z is an important vote bank. Let me, specify the hard facts. But please don't underestimate the fact that in the Lok Sabha 2024 elections, 1.89 crore Gen Z or first-time voters took part, and 67% of those voters voted for whom? They voted for the BJP. Maharashtra Assembly elections 2024, 21 lakh Gen Z voters voted for BJP. Bihar, 23 lakh Gen Z voters voted for BJP. Delhi, 6.4 lakh Gen Z voters voted for BJP. Then don't forget that even in Haryana, 9.73 lakh Gen Z voters voted for BJP.
Okay.
So if you look at the data clearly says Gen Z believes in Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. And my final point is this. Rahul Gandhi's hypocrisy has been nailed, Hina. Rahul Gandhi has the time to go to Pune. He has the time to go to Prayagraj. Why did Rahul Gandhi not visit Ranchi? Jharkhand kitni dur hai Delhi se?
Okay.
And I am all of FIR that Sahil has been able to register. But if you have empathy with Sahil, I asked Rahul Gandhi, why not have empathy with the block development officer of Chhota, Drishti Pathak, who lost her left eye?
Okay.
Because of
Tushar, coming back to Gen Z specifically, the young population in this country is not challenging the nation. It's challenging the systems which are broken. So do you agree with what Ms. Girija mentioned a short while ago, that this is indeed a very different kind of a moment, a rare moment in the history of our country? And, that's the reason why now even political parties are being forced to change their strategies.
Hasn't that happened in every generation? In 2012, 13 and 14,
but
a younger
it
generation...
different than what we have seen in the past? I mean, have you seen in the past a sitting education minister resign because of a protest by young people in this country? Have you seen
it's not
Prime
about the
Minister
education minister.
making videos on Instagram the way he made this time when he want to connect with the young people of this country? He does programs where he interacts with young people. But, you know, he started doing Instagram videos only after CJP-led protest.
But there was no Instagram in 2012 when Narendra Modi as chief minister was using Facebook in 2012 to connect with the younger generation. That was the change we saw in 2010s.
Do
In
you use
2000s,
Facebook? Tushar, on a lighter note, do you use Facebook?
I used to use it in 2012, and that is where I connected the chief minister of Gujarat.
Yes.
That is what I'm trying to tell
When
you.
did you join Instagram? When did you join Instagram?
Hina, it's not about me today. For me, it was about 2010s. I'm talking about generational thing you're talking about. That every generation has its political tipping point. In 2012, it seemed unthinkable that BJP will have full majority in the center, but they had it. In early 2000s, you had a younger generation riding on the IT boom, changing how India looks at development. In the 1990s, you had reservation politics. I'm not trying to downplay what this current protest is aimed at or what this current generation is doing or what the outreach is. I'm just saying that it happens every 10 years. It's a cycle and political parties have to work hard. Like you rightly pointed out, that the Prime Minister has now gone on Instagram. He's making videos, which is something that we never heard of or which is not seen with any other head state across the world. That part you're right. But this entire process where a generation is galvanized behind a new idea, I think that we've seen for the last 40 years at several points in time. That is how you got Narendra Modi.
Okay, Imran. Now, I want to talk to you about one more aspect that we saw emerging today from both sides, from BJP side as well as Congress party side. And I want to specifically talk about what Rahul Gandhi said. His Chhatron Ki Gunj today was focused on women, female students in this country, in Pune specifically, and he gave a slogan, break patriarchy. The girls should get the rights. Now, I want to ask you, will Congress begin the practice from home and we could probably see a bigger role for Priyanka Gandhi Vadra?
You know, I certainly hope so. I'm someone, although I don't belong to the Congress, I certainly feel that someone who is deserving should always come to the forefront. But I would want to go back to what Sanjuji also said. She said the BJP has a gun pointed at it since 2014. However, the students had a pellet gun not pointed, fired. Now, if you ask me, is that a national level issue? It absolutely is. And for me, what is more concerning is in our national capital, for a person to register an FIR in which a cognizable offense at which he has been fired at takes 6 hours of the leader of opposition support to come and register an FIR. So today my real question is that if a leader of opposition in our national capital, his support takes a man 6 hours to register an FIR, and mind you, a first information report in which a cognizable offense has been occurred should not be such a Herculean task. So is it a national issue? Please let us not underplay it by saying, oh, this is divergent politics. It absolutely isn't. For someone who has been fired at, and mind you, there was an occasion, I think in Bihar, in which an AK-47 was fired. Thankfully, nobody lost their life. But are these questions that the union government has to answer, especially on the fact of where it's happened? Please, now I'll tell you, the whhole Gen Z thing.
But I asked you specifically on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. I asked you specifically on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Isn't she deserving? Sanju, 1 second.
I answered. Absolutely is. Absolutely is. When I look, I feel she's a smitten image of her grandmother. Should she be in the forefront? She absolutely should. Every woman who deserves it should be in the forefront.
Quick rebuttal. Please stick to 10 seconds now.
If you remember.
Please,
but Sanju, only 10 seconds, please. I don't have a lot of time left on this debate.
Hina, whenever you come to me, you add a disclaimer. I know I have to be brief. Now let me finish.
Sanju, I give the same disclaimer to everybody. No, let's be fair, and I have been fair from the beginning of this debate. I opened debate with you. I gave you ample amount of time. You made your opening comment, and you can't just question me. I am giving you time. Please stick to that time.
Hina, I'm going to answer. Please don't get so rattled. No, I just politely told you, don't give a disclaimer, don't, blow your
No,
lid.
you
Now, let me-
pointed a finger at me saying that I only give you a disclaimer. I give the disclaimer to everybody, and everybody else sticks to the time, Sanju, fortunately.
I will stick to time and I don't want you to interject me. Now, the limited rebuttal to Imran is this. Imran, I was with a spokesperson, official spokesperson of the Congress party, when he said that the young block development officer of Chapra, Drishti Pathak, lost her left eye because she was attacked by goons masquerading as students. The spokesperson told me, अरे वो तो बिहार है ना, हमको बिहार से क्या मतलब है?
Okay.
Then there is a block development officer of Saran, Ritesh Singh. He's fighting for his life at Medanta Hospital.
Okay.
He was attacked by professional Andolan GP.
Tushar also wants to come in. Tushar, yes.
Look, Hina, look at the irony of things. You ask a wonderful question about a greater role for Priyanka Gandhi, and the answer you get is that, look, Priyanka Gandhi looks like her grandmother, so she deserves a greater role, not for her political acumen. This is the problem with the Congress. And in 2022, Priyanka Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi led with Nikki, who led Sakti with Uttar Pradesh.
I have heard. I mean,
Imran, you heard yourself. I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. In 2022 in Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi led with Ladki Ho Lad Sakti.
I'll come after you.
Ladki Ho Lad Sakti. It did not click with the voters. At the end of the day, slogans can only take you so far. The ground change needs to be visible. That promise of policy needs to be visible within the voters. So whatever Rahul Gandhi wants to do, the credibility is still missing.
Okay, the credibility is missing. Imran, before I come to you, the closing comment, because you want to come, Miss Neerja, for Rahul Gandhi to, become credible, say, in the eyes of people like Tushar Gupta, and do you think when he's talking about, when he's giving a slogan, break patriarchy, perhaps he can begin from his own house? He can signal that he's breaking patriarchy. Congress is ready to break patriarchy by elevating Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Do you think it's an opportunity to walk the talk?
I think Priyanka Gandhi Vadra should get a larger role. She's done well in Parliament in the way she's handled things. She thinks on her feet politically. Her articulation and all has been noted by people. But so must other women in the Congress party get a larger role. One of the good things Priyanka done in Uttar Pradesh was to say that 40% of the seats should be given to women. And now that did not work out. You remember, they lost deposits. But, because the organization does not exist in UP, that doesn't mean you give up that idea.
Okay.
And that should be pursued. Not given up with ease.
Okay, Imran. Sanju, 1 second.
The problem with BJP and Tusharji today has been that the selective, I was unable to make him understand. Probably my English is a different English. I don't know. Probably I come from a local school, and that's why. However, today I just want to say one thing. I did not say that her biggest achievement is her looking like a grandmother. I only said every deserving woman, irrespective of where she comes from, should be at the forefront. Now, this in no way says that she looks like a grandmother only. That does not get you anywhere. If that were, there's so many people whose second generations don't go in politics. So, whether it be Vande Mataram, whether it be, Priyanka Gandhi, do not be selective in when you are hearing the opposite viewpoint. I mean, it's not every time that, I would agree. Rather, today I agreed with Charji on one thing, that he said that are both issues of national importance. Absolutely, I agree with him.
Right.
The voting population will decide.
Well, absolutely.
As to what
it's the people of this country eventually who will decide. Okay, Sanju, 10 seconds now. Please stick to 10 seconds.
Okay.
Another disclaimer.
I'm not to fight with you now. Let me just say this, Hina.
No, it's fun fighting with you also, Sanju, so it's okay.
Hina, please relax, yaar. You're the anchor. Don't keep on getting at loggerheads with me. Priyanka Vadra said, "Lucky hu, lag sakti hu." And she went to Hathras. And this is the same Priyanka Vadra when the poster girl of Ladki Ho Lad Sakti Ho, Archana Gautam, was beaten outside the Congress headquarters by Priyanka Vadra's secretary Sandeep Singh. Priyanka Vadra ke muh mein tala lag gaya. Do you think that women in Uttar Pradesh can see through Priyanka Vadra's charade? They cannot see that Priyanka Vadra is a charlatan.
Okay.
Ladki who लग सकती. Why
Okay.
did she not support her?
Okay, we'll leave it there. I'm completely out of time. Imran, I must say your acquaintance with Queen's language is fantastic. So I don't think you really need to justify that. It's been a wonderful debate. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on this debate.